Hello, good evening. Today, the 10th of June 2023, to present Camnet Television main news, my name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Our top stories in the news: hunger looms in SHAN'GOMBO district. Government continues to deny claims of fighting the Catholic Church. Authorities challenged to enact the Public Order Act. In international news, 6 civilians killed in extremist attack on Mogadishu beachside hotel. And in sports news, Manchester City and Inter Milan face off in the UEFA Champions League final.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RainGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Hello again. Another detail. Children in SHAN'GOMBO district of Western Province say they should be given a seat at the table when the government makes decisions on responding to climate change. In an interview with Camnet News, Namakando says children's voices need to be heard and ensure that their education and skills are enhanced so they can participate in creating a sustainable future. Meanwhile, Media Network Child Rights and Development Executive Director has called for a greater push at national level to educate children on climate change and create more green jobs. More in this report.
The climate crisis affects everyone. Children in vulnerable communities, especially from the rural parts of the country, are taking the strongest heat. As climate change leads to increasing severe heat waves, floods and drought, it is important to understand how extreme weather impacts children's education in different parts of the country. SHAN'GOMBO district, located in the western province of Zambia, is not spared from the effects of climate change, nor the children in the area.
In SHAN'GOMBO district, we have experienced the drought that is caused by climate change, and this dry spell has affected children, school-going children.
But as parents struggle to feed their families, children like Margaret are struggling to stay sharp in class and to keep their dreams alive.
Crops which people had planted to supply them food, they dried up because they didn't have enough rainfall. And as for me, I find that it was a little bit too hot since I go in the morning and back in the afternoon. So for me to walk from home to school, it was really hot.
SHAN'GOMBO District Commissioner notes the need for government and other agencies to put in place measures that will improve the well-being of children by taking into account climate change.
As a district, we are a victim of climate change. For the past 3-4 years, we have not been receiving enough rains. Like this year, we are in a very desperate situation.
The Media Network on Child Rights and Development is undertaking a project in SHAN'GOMBO district, among other rural parts of the country, with an aim to raise awareness on the effects of climate change on children.
We cannot discuss the future and its impact without the direct involvement of children. So as a country, there are programs that we need to put up deliberately, because most of them are led by civil society. So schools and other entities that support child participation should be able to mobilize children for them to understand the importance of climate change. In fact, teaching certain things to adults normally doesn't work because they haven't been groomed from childhood. So if we start approaching children in places where they burn charcoal, in places where they are cutting trees, we are able to influence them to find alternatives in terms of what they can use to make income in their specific area. So we need to ensure that children are involved at all levels.
According to Sustainable Development Goal number 13, by 2030, Zambia seeks to integrate climate change measures into national policies, strategies and planning. with children and young people increasingly at risk from extreme weather and out in the street demanding faster action on global warming. Efforts to respect and promote their rights in climate policy needs to set up. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Secretary to the Royal Establishment in SHAN'GOMBO district of Western Province, Dominic Shomeno, says hunger is looming in the district this year due to a dry spell experienced. In an exclusive interview with Camnet News, Mr. Shomeno says residents are experiencing a shortage of maize because farmers were negatively affected by a dry spell. He explains that this has now contributed to the escalating prices of meal in the district, which have made life difficult. He says currently a 25-kilogram bag of meal is going at 265 kwacha. He has since appealed to the local authority to quickly intervene in the matter.
A combination of prolonged severe drought in Western Province has increased hunger, with the majority of people facing food insecurity. While some leaders have continued to claim that there is no hunger crisis in Zambia, villagers in SHAN'GOMBO district of Western Province have been severely hit by hunger and unfortunately have not been supplied relief food. Secretary to the Royal Establishment, Dominic Shomeno, says hunger has hit the district this year. He explains that this has now contributed to the escalating price of meal in the district, which has made life difficulty.
The high cost of living, because a bag of meal now, as of yesterday and today, it is at 265 kwacha per 25 kg. And when you go at the market, availability of market, there is no availability of maize. And the bucket of maize is at 380 kwacha. So when you look at the families, calculation of government is about 6 per family. But as the setup in our villages is more than 6. It's about 12, 16 and the like. So you'd find that it has impacted much because there is a high cost of living and the people, they are not managing to buy those meal. And even the meal, where they are buying it in Osaka, they are coming in low pace, at low pace. Because as of last week, there was availability of meal, there was nothing.
He has lamented over the prevailing cost of living in SHAN'GOMBO district, adding that this has left majority of children abscond from school due to hunger and making people's life unbearable. Currently, a 25 kg bag of meal in SHAN'GOMBO district is costing 265 kwacha. Mr. Shomeno has since appealed to government to quickly intervene in the matter.
So we are really appealing from the government to quickly come into our district to help SHAN'GOMBO district, because all these years we have been experiencing hunger starting from October. But now this year, hunger started way back in January. And we are talking of people they are expecting if they will harvest in March next year. So there will be no proper livelihood because one, they can't hunt because there is a restriction by the Zawa. And then fishing also. The river is in Angola. So all those are the consequences now. So the river is in Angola, so now the catching of fish is limited. Sometimes they close even themselves there in Angola.
Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Government has quashed allegations that it is in competition with the Catholic Church in the country. Technology and Science Minister Felix Mutati says government engaged the Zambia Council of Catholic Bishops President Ignatius Chama in Kasama to address the purported conflict, which he says does not exist. Meanwhile, addressing the media Saturday, Minister of Health Sylvia Masewo expressed disappointment that people are still focusing on politics of hate unlike unity of purpose that promotes development. Here's a report.
Zambians were treated to public debate when some Catholic priests took to the pulpit reacting to President Hichilema's use of graphs to explain the economic strides his administration is undertaking during his recent press conference. However, government says there's no competition with the church as it is in a hurry to partner with civil society organization, the Church Inclusive, to develop the country. Addressing the media Saturday, Technology and Science Minister Felix Mutati says government engaged the Zambia Council of Catholic Bishops President Ignatius Chama in Kasama to address the purported conflict, which he says does not exist.
From both the church and members of the ruling party, giving an impression that there is a standoff and deep misunderstanding between the government and the church. We wish to state here categorically that we are not in competition with the church, neither are we in conflict with the church. The delegation that was sent by His Excellency the President to make peace with the Catholic Church engaged the Archbishop to demonstrate our resolve.
During the address, Local Government and Rural Development Minister SHAN'GOMBO cautioned all those alleged to be leaking confidential information and promoting hate speech.
And I'm very sure that because this government was elected on account, among other things, of the restoration of law and order, I'm quite certain that the relevant arms of the law are going to deal with this matter in the most professional manner, in the most unbiased manner, in the most untargeting manner, and will reach those who perpetrated the issue of the leaked and forged letters.
Minister of Health Sylvia Masebo says this is no time to play politics of mud.
Shame, I must state, considering that we call ourselves a Christian nation. I want to believe that as a mother for that matter, we all want peace in this country. It is in nobody's interest to see a church and the government, or indeed individuals of the church and individuals of any political party, including the head of state, to be seen to be differing with anybody.
Meanwhile, Minister of Infrastructure and Urban Development Charles Medupi says there is no standoff between the church and government, further citing that the Conference of Catholic Bishops is at liberty to decide on the course of action to the priest alleged to have disregarded the use of graphs.
That he was going to speak to his brothers, we're talking about the Conference of Catholic Bishops, and relay to them our views and relay to them the message that we had sent over there to deliver from the President. I think suffice to say, beyond that, it is up to the Conference of Catholic Bishops what measures will be taken. As I say, we did not go there to demand action. We went there to seek reconciliation.
Nelson Zulu for Camnet News in Lusaka.
Munali constituency member of Parliament Mike Mposha is disappointed that Lusaka City Council has been tolerating lawlessness in the area to the extent that illegalities seem to be normal. Speaking during a community meeting in Lusaka's Kalingalinga area of Munali constituency, the lawmaker regrets that bars are everywhere and in markets, thus leading to criminal activities. The Water and Sanitation Minister says he is working with members of the community to ensure that sanity is restored in the constituency.
Saturday, 10th June 2023, the Drug Enforcement Commission engaged the community members in Lusaka's Kalingalinga area of Munali constituency, a gesture that will be replicated in other constituencies. Munali Member of Parliament Mike Mposha, civic leaders, members of the general public, the church, the police and the business community converged to discuss issues affecting them and the way forward. Chief among them was the issue of community gangs, commonly known as junkies, and the issue of drugs and alcohol abuse among young people.
Mr. mwamene wazatitandizira kuti abana bamene bachitataaki bantu bakulu usiku. Majanki aba batekinge note kuti bachite employ bantu bamene bazambotandizira sense community ni ikulu ya Kalingalinga. Mwamene tizachepese mwamene kuti majanki aba bachepe olokapena kusiriza magroup y'abana bamene babisa mabisama.
During the meeting, it was observed that combating vices cannot be left to the Drug Enforcement Commission and other law enforcement wings.
The fight against substance abuse is one serious fight that we need concerted effort as stakeholders, together with government being the major stakeholders. For example, in our case as the Youth Life Project Zambia, we've been working tirelessly with the Drug Enforcement Commission under the Sober Youth Lab program, where we've been getting in our community spaces, sensitizing the youth about the dangers of this vice of drug.
Meanwhile, the Commission says it has focused on enhancing community engagements and awareness in the country to combat drug abuse.
There hasn't been a word, a voice from the civic leaders. Hence, this is why we want, because they are closer to people, they are always with their people. So if they add a word on drugs, it may make a difference. So from Kanyama, then we'll go to Mateo George compound, and then we'll see how the response will be. Then the program can be extended to all parts of Lusaka. Later on, at national level, it should be extended to other provinces.
And Area Member of Parliament Mike Kimposha, who is also Minister of Water and Sanitation, is disappointed that the council allowed lawlessness to thrive under its watch. He says the sale of alcohol in undesignated places, such as markets, must be curtailed in order to restore sanity.
Now we find that beer is being sold in markets. We have these liquor stores that are somehow becoming very unregulated. And I'm one lawmaker who is extremely displeased with Lusaka City Council, and I want to say that I had an engagement with them last week to tell them that this problem, we can't have someone setting up a liquor store and closing a public road, completely closing the road and forcing people to use one lane. It's happening right here in this constituency. And now people are operating as if they are daring the law enforcers, like you can't do anything. But the question is, what kind of licenses did you? I think this is the problem of drug abuse cannot be left to Drug Enforcement Commission alone, because the people who are selling these drugs are coming from certain homes within this community, but also the people that are, abusing these drugs, young people, are also coming from our homes.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
The opposition leadership movement has urged the United Party for National Development administration to quickly table the Public Order Act before Parliament. Addressing the media Saturday, Deputy Party Secretary General Charles Chandalala wonders why the current administration failed to table the bill in the previous sitting of Parliament. He adds that citizens have many expectations from the current administration, which they should start working on. Meanwhile, Party Secretary General Jairus Ngoma has advised government to stop involving the church in political affairs. More in this report.
The public expectation on the Public Order Act is high. The POA bill being reformed as the Public Gathering Bill is among critical bills pending enactment. Over the years, there have been calls to amend the Public Order Act, which successive governments have evidently used to disadvantage political opponents, especially during elections. Having suffered the police abuse of the POA, and to avoid a situation where other opposition political leaders face similar hurting experiences, the UPND administration has started the process of cleaning this law. Earlier this year, the Zambia Law Development Commission handed over the Public Gathering Bill to the Ministry of Home Affairs and Internal Security, pending cabinet approval for tabling in Parliament. The Leadership Movement Party has urged the UPND administration to quickly table the POA before Parliament as soon as possible.
All those lacunas which in the Public Order Act are worked upon. We do not want to see, come 2026, that's when the Minister of Justice and this government will be serious to work on the issue of to repeal the Public Order Act. It does not make sense. Why you PND more position? For to actually more position by Public Order Act. Why are you comfortable with the Public Order Act? 2 years down the line, not the election of the Public Order Act. If we are not serious, believe me, until 2026, we will be talking on the issue of Public Order Act without any repealing. It does not make sense. Justice Minister, to therefore update on how far you have gone, because we as a leadership movement, we think these are serious issues which the government of the day, the Minister of Justice, should be bringing on the table.
Meanwhile, the Party Secretary General, Jairus Ngoma, has advised the UPND administration to stop involving the church in political affairs.
The role of a politician, it is that of a servant. Whilst these people is to turn us to salvation. So now when you bring the church into politics, then you are departing from the real core, because those people have been set apart, as we have called differently. That's why we want to talk, because your media, when you talk, they'll say, no, you are aligned. That's why Timu Kambiranko is Nawasirumbe.
Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
First Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Malungo Chisangano, has implored parliamentarians to use their position of influence into realizing the effective implementation of sustainable development goals in the country. Ms. Chisangano observes that despite the implementation of the SDGs being halfway done, the country is still experiencing high levels of poverty, inequalities, unemployment, among others, which requires the attention of everyone. She says the legislators, members of parliament, should prioritize the promotion and adoption of people-centered policies to ensure no one is left behind. Here's a report.
Sustainable Development Goals work have never been more important as they seek to create a world of peace and prosperity, eradicating major issues such as poverty and hunger while protecting the planet amid the climate crisis. The need to create synergies that actualize the goals by 2030 at the country level should be a priority. As such, First Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Malungo Chisangano, has challenged parliamentarians in the country to use their position of influence into realizing the effective implementation of sustainable development goals in the country. Ms. Chisangano is concerned that although the implementation of the SDGs is halfway gone, Zambia continues to record high levels of poverty, inequalities, and unemployment, among other challenges which call for more efforts. Ms. Chisangano was speaking at the official opening for the draft of the second voluntary national review consultation meeting of the Sustainable Development Goals in Lusaka.
We still have a lot of work to do. This makes the next 7.5 years very critical if we are to achieve our targets as shown in the SDGs. In view of the foregoing, I'm of the view that if we work together as a people, including parliamentarians, the civil society organizations, and our cooperating partners, we will not only achieve the SDGs, but also, and most importantly, create a bright future for all the people of Zambia.
Meanwhile, United Nations representative highlights some of the challenges that have put SDGs achievement off track.
Just like other countries, is facing a number of challenges, including the impact of the COVID-19, the data limitations, limited fiscal space for SDGs, financing due to the debt distress and debt services, and also the negative effect of the climate change, among other global crises we are facing. The COVID-19 recovery needs assessment, which was jointly produced by the government of Zambia and the United Nations, highlighted all those challenges.
And Ministry of Finance and National Planning Acting Permanent Secretary for Planning and Administration, Lois Mulube, says the government is committed to accelerating the attainment of the Sustainable Development Agenda by embarking on an economic recovery path.
The government is committed to the Sustainable Development Agenda. Government is also committed to inclusive development. Government is also committed to accelerating the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals, the Sustainable Development Agenda. At this juncture, I would like to request everyone to actively participate in this workshop and contribute to the discourse on where we need to collectively take action to accelerate progress towards sustainable development for our country.
For sustainable development to be achieved, it is crucial to harmonize economic growth, social inclusion, and environmental protection, as they are crucial for the well-being of individuals and societies. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Mumbwa Member of Parliament Credo Nanjua has urged his constituents to effectively engage with the constituency development committees in identifying needy areas of development in the area. Speaking when he commissioned 13 out of 33 Constituency Development Fund CDF projects in his constituency from the 2022 CDF allocation, Mr. Nanjua says for the constituency to develop, the constituents need to work collectively to amass the needed development. He says the introduction of CDF is a game changer, which everyone should embrace and develop in the area. Here's a report.
The relief of having access to quality education, availability of healthcare services and other social amenities is key to the existence of people. These are Mumbwa residents who are witnessing the benefits of the Constituency Development Fund as Area Member of Parliament Credo Nanjua hands over a staff house and an incinerator at Chikanda, Kashika Health Post, installation of a mortuary unit at Mumbwa District Hospital, among others. Mr. Nanjua, who is also Central Province Minister, handed over 13 out of 33 Constituency Development Fund CDF projects in his constituency from the 2022 CDF allocation, with a call for all the constituents to inclusively identify needy areas for development.
That's the money here, so that we choose what we want to do. If we want to do a boho, we do the boho. So President Hakainde is a super sub. I am therefore, Your Royal Highness, gratified to note that these community projects that are being commissioned today were put up following a need recognized by the community.
The necessity of all the commissioned projects is seen by the joy gripped on the locals.
We've managed to construct a one-staff house and an incinerator at Chikanda Health Post. For Manarimwi, we have managed to construct a staff house at Kashinka Health Post. We have also, using CDF funds, managed to install a cold room at the mortuary. Umumbwa main hospital, what our problem here mortuary. So we've managed, using the funds, to install a mortuary.
Therefore, on behalf of Mumbwa Malamila constituency, cutting the ribbon, that the vehicle is now for use in Mumbwa Parliamentary constituency for monitoring purposes in the presence of the Constituency Development Committee chairperson, who is here.
The event was attended by Chief Shubuluma, Deputy Provincial Permanent Secretary Godfrey Tambala, Provincial Local Government Officer, Council Secretary, senior provincial officials, as well as local residents. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Mumbwa.
Some opposition political party presidents in the country are confident that President Hakainde Hichilema will deliver to the expectation of the people as chairperson of the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, COMESA. Zambia assumed the position of chairperson of the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, COMESA, Authority of the Heads of State and Government. Dr. Nevas Mumba of the Movement for Multi-Party Democracy, MMD, New Congress Party leader President Peter Chanda, and Democratic Party office bearer Judith Kabemba are optimistic that President Hichilema will lead other heads of state in steering trade and regional integration. Here's a report.
Upon Zambia assuming the position of chairperson of the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, COMESA Authority of Heads of State and Government, opposition political party leaders have congratulated President Hakainde Hichilema and hope that he delivers the commitments of the regional body as it fits into the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area. Opposition political party leaders who attended the summit told Camnet News in an interview that it is important that the commitment to move towards the common currency and enhance intra-Africa trade are actualized. The African Continental Free Trade Area, if fully implemented, could raise income by 9% by 2035 and lift 50 million people out of extreme poverty. Dr. Nevas Mumba is Movement for Multi-Party Democracy President.
Some of the greatest speeches on earth are made from African platforms. They are liberating, they are deep in insight, but we lack when it comes to working them out. And the reasons are not all our fault, because the whole entire system of the global operation, as they have been saying in the meetings, are rigged. In other words, it works in favor of foreign nations. And therefore we have first to unrig Africa in order for the ideas we have to start to work. And that's a big job.
We also spoke to new Congress Party President Peter Chanda.
Zambia, and it's something that we cannot take lightly. It is nothing political. It's something that has to do with regional integration, and President providing leadership as chairperson, also providing a vision as to where COMESA authority will be able to go. I want to state that it has been a great summit, and I want to commend the Secretary General, Madam Kapwepwe, for having organized and hosted this event in a very successful manner. Also, I want to commend the President of Kenya as well as the President of Malawi on their statement of ensuring that we break the barriers. This was also echoed by President Ichilema himself. We need to rise up as Africans and claim what is right, also safeguard what is ours. I want to state that we've been exploited by this Western world or other regions for too long.
Meanwhile, Democratic Party office bearer Judith Kawemba has called on COMESA member states to address barriers to trade, such as exorbitant taxes to small and medium-scale enterprises.
Barriers in trade, the barriers at the border sites. These barriers that are at border sites are most of the times simply acts as conduits of corruption and conduits of killing small businesses instead of helping the small enterprises access and also be able to trade freely. They keep on demanding a lot of money from them. And obviously, we also need to see a situation where member countries of COMESA should do away with the issue of visas if we are to trade freely, because it is time consuming, it is also expensive.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
You're watching Camnet Television Main News. We take our first commercial break. Join us for more news after the break.
In our quest to save nations and develop Africa, Savenda is investing in the agriculture sector so as to produce supply for both local and international markets, housing over 12,000 pullets that are nurtured and fed with our locally made stock feed that comes from our own locally grown maize and soya beans, all processed from our recently installed milling and mixing plant. Our over 95,000 layers have an output capacity of over 1,500 trays of fresh eggs per day that are carefully selected and packaged for all the leading stores and supermarkets nationwide. Our greenhouses are fitted with the latest irrigation system, and the seedlings are nurtured to ensure only healthy plants reach the fields. With our deliberate planting schedule, we are better placed to supply constantly without interruption, thus reliable. Savenda Farms is also changing lives of its dedicated workforce drawn from the local community and beyond. So the next time you think fresh and green, think Savenda Farms.
Deborah, have you connected to the Wi-Fi on the bus? It's fast, it's amazing. I've just downloaded my books and I'm about to complete the series. It's nice, chew me.
No, I'm actually watching a reality show. He's about to propose. Oh, so sweet.
Make your trip seem short yet comfortable and safe when you use the UBZ luxurious fully air-conditioned coaches that come fitted with amazing onboard entertainment, passenger information services, coffee-making facilities and fridge for your hot and cold beverages, free and interrupted Wi-Fi for your gadgets, phone charging facilities, comfortable seats that recline to offer extra resting posture, safety seat belts, adjustable reading lights for each traveling client, and of course, clean flushing toilets for your convenience. So travel in luxury and safety with UBZ luxurious coaches. UBZ will always take you there.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RainGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry, Chipoka Mulenga, says the non-stop border post will soon be a reality. Republican President Hakainde Hichilema emphasized during the just-ended COMESA summit that in order to enhance regional integration and trade, the non-stop border post concept is key. And Mr. Mulenga says government is dreaming big and that the vision will be actualized.
The hub is a one-stop border post. It's a good facility where you don't only stop in Zimbabwe, you don't stop in Zimbabwe and Zambia, you only stop in one place. You stop in Zambia, Zimbabwe allows you through. You stop in Zimbabwe, Zambia allows you through. It's good, and we have seen, like, if you go to Kazungula today, we have increased our revenue earnings by 150% because of a one-stop border post. But go to Nakonde, go into Kasumbalesa, the challenges are there. But we have to go beyond the one-stop border post. Because of science and technology, because of razors and scanners, it's easy to see what goods somebody has and just pass. We can even increase by 300% earnings and revenue in those aspects. So it's very possible, but it's being ambitious. So when we say that this is our vision, we want to go one non-stop border post, then 1 year later you come and say, it's not being a lie. It's about telling the country where we want the country to be headed to, informing the public where we want to go. So walk with us and listen that we are talking about one border post. Be ingenious, be innovative, then we can do this together. So definitely we want this country to move in a certain direction, and that's why you see us even plotting graphs where we were, where we are, and where we are headed. Not to mock anybody or trying to target some certain sections of society, but making sure that everybody is moving along with the government. Being transparent is something that probably Zambians have not been seeing in the past many times, but we are doing it now, and we'll keep engaging you. You may scorn us, we'll draw strength from your scorning, and we'll do something better. But definitely we have resolved, we'll be open, we'll be transparent, and we'll tell you of the vision and where we want to be.
Solwezi District Cooperative Union Vice Chairperson Baxter Mbela says there is need to speak the same voice between politicians and government for most cooperatives to strive in northwestern province. Mr. Mbela says previously most cooperatives were supported by the government, and when the partners pulled out, most cooperatives failed to sustain themselves. He says cooperatives are business entities, hence the need to allow them to be independent from government. Mr. Mbela has also appealed to government to rehabilitate deplorable roads in Solwezi, especially roads that lead to farms. He says farmers have been having a huge challenge, especially in the rainy season, to transport their farm produce to the nearest markets.
So that, as in the cooperative movement, the government and the politician have the same language of competitiveness, entrepreneurship. Lesson learned from behind was that most of these cooperatives were just supported by the government. When the government pulled out, we fell down. But this time, we want to plead with the government through the case and UNICEF and all of us here that the cooperative are business entities. So may we speak business language so that now cooperative will be independent. With any change of government, cooperative will still stand. The other thing we want to request from government PS is that our feeder roads, most of these business enterprises, for business to get inputs and outputs, they need better roads. Our feeder roads need to work upon. Example, that's one example, sir. We have the road which goes to Mulenga. The road is very bad. Meanwhile, we have a lot of farmers that are growing tomato.
Meanwhile, Northwestern Province Permanent Secretary Colonel Wishikoti Katambi says government is keen to have in place a strong cooperative movement which is able to create job opportunities for unemployed citizens in the province. Colonel Katambi says the movement will result in poverty alleviation of many people who are struggling to make ends meet. He has assured cooperatives of government support that will make it possible for cooperatives to develop to levels where they can contribute to the development of the province. Colonel Katambi was speaking during the Northwestern Cooperative 2023 in Daba and the launch of the Provincial Cooperative Development Fund, PCDF, in Solwezi District.
As you are aware, government is keen to have in place a strong cooperative movement which is able to create employment, not witchcraft, and well, many of our employed women and youth, resulting in poverty alleviation among our people. I think this is very important, Director General. It's something that we, including myself, in Office of Progress, tend to miss it. As we gather here today to ponder and plan a path to relaunch and reposition the cooperative movement, be rest assured that the new Dawn government, under the leadership of His Excellency Mr. Chema, President of the Republic of Zambia, stands ready to offer the much needed support that will make it possible for the cooperatives to develop to levels where they can effectively contribute to the development of our economy.
This is Camnet Television Main News. We'll take a second and final break. When we're back, we'll come back with international sports news.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RainGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet Television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet Television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
Welcome back. And now in international news, police in Somalia say 9 people, including 3 soldiers, were killed in Friday night's extremist attack on a beachside hotel in the capital, Mogadishu. The police statement published on Saturday said 10 other people were wounded, while 84 people were rescued from their house from the hours-long assault that ended early Saturday morning. Al-Qaeda's East Africa affiliate Al-Shabaab claimed responsibility for the attack. The extremist group is known for carrying out attacks on hotels and other high-profile locations in Mogadishu, usually starting with a suicide bombing. Witnesses had told the Associated Press that some people were trapped inside the Pearl Beach Hotel, which is popular with government officials. The Lido Beach area is one of Mogadishu's most popular. Abdul Qadir Adan, the director of Amin Ambulance Service, said that what occurred last night was quite tragic, as it occurred in an unexpected setting and at an unexpected time. Here's a roundup of international news for more.
The Somali police said Saturday that 6 civilians had been killed and 10 wounded in a 6-hour siege by Islamist Al-Shabaab militants in Mogadishu. 3 members of the security forces died during the rescue operation at the beachside hotel. The 7 assailants, who were all killed, launched the attack just before 5 p.m. GMT on Friday. the director of an ambulance that was rushed on site, recounts. What occurred last night was quite tragic, as the occurred in an unexpected setting and at an unexpected time. The Amin paramedic staff immediately rushed to the scene and we collected 20 wounded patients, 4 of whom were ladies and 16 others were males. The staff also retrieved from the scene the body of a soldier who was wearing battle fatigues. That is the overall number of people that we were able to collect from the scene. Al-Shabaab have waged war against Somalia's government for over 15 years. In February, the UN said the continued attacks resulted in a sharp increase in the number of civilian casualties last year. The UN on Friday announced that a unit of 60 peacekeepers from Tanzania was to be repatriated from the Central African Republic following serious allegations of sexual exploitation and abuse. The alleged crimes were not dated. Speaking from New York, the spokesperson for the UN chief said a preliminary investigation identified 4 victims.
The identified victims are being provided with care and support by the mission's humanitarian partners. The mission has also deployed a team to further engage with the community. The authorities, the Tanzanian authorities have been formally notified and have deployed national investigative officers to the Central African Republic.
Credible evidence was found against 11 members of the unit formerly based in the western part of the Central African Republic.
The unit has been relocated to another base while the investigation continues, and members of the unit are confined to barracks. This is in order to protect the victims as well, of course, as the integrity of the investigation. The unit will be repatriated once their presence is no longer required in theater by the investigators.
Since 2015, the United Nations recorded 254 accusations of sexual exploitation and abuse targeting members of its multidimensional integrated stabilization mission in the Central African Republic, also known as MINUSCA. Early Saturday, Somali state media reported that the security forces had brought to an end the siege of a hotel in the capital, Mogadishu. Fighters from the Islamist Al-Shabaab group claimed responsibility for the attack which took place on Friday. Witnesses reported hearing gunfire and explosions. Tonight we saw a big disaster here at Lido Beach at Abdelaziz district. As soon as the first blast rocked the area, I saw a lady fall on the ground dead after she was hit by shrapnel. May Allah have mercy on the people who killed. The hotel on Lido Beach is often visited by officials. The national broadcaster said many civilians were rescued and that the attackers had been killed. No report of casualties was unveiled.
Let's now have some sports news. In our sports news tonight, Manchester City is hoping to add to its tally of trophies this season as they play against Inter Milan in the UEFA Champions League final this evening. Pep Guardiola's team has already won the Premier League title and FA Cup this season and is bidding to win the Champions League for the first time in the club's history. If they do, City will emulate Manchester United's feat from 1999. Manchester City head into the final in ideal form, having lost just one of their past 26 games in all competitions and also going unbeaten in Europe this season, winning 7 of the 12 matches. But Inter Milan progressed from a tough group containing European giants Bayern Munich, Barcelona and FC Victoria Pilsen. The Italian giants also eliminated Porto, Benfica and City rival AC Milan en route to the final. To end Camnet television news, the headlines once again. Hunger looms in SHAN'GOMBO district. Government continues to deny claims of fighting the Catholic Church. Authorities challenged to enact the Public Order Act. In international news, 6 civilians killed in extremist attack on Mogadishu beachside hotel. And in sports news, Manchester City and Inter Milan face off in the UEFA Champions League final. Our Camnet verse of the day is coming from 1 John chapter 4 verse 1. Dear friends, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God, because many false prophets have gone out into the world. Thank you again for watching Camnet Television News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Bye-bye.